is of extremely, is of a lot of significance with a lot of commentary around it. We are also getting you the on-cam moment of when Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in fact, reached Kyiv and he got off Rail Force 1. These are the first visuals of Prime Minister disembarking the train, and those are the pictures on your screens. A historic visit and a lot of significance also coming right after Prime Minister Narendra Modi also held talks with Vladimir Putin. A lot of conversation around this visit with allies in the West also keeping a close watch. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and India's stand has been one that says that this is not an era of war. We have Rishabh joining us. He's tracking this historic visit of the Prime Minister. First, Rishabh, take us through the pictures, and also we'll be going across to Rishabh in a short while from now. He's on the ground. He's tracking the entire visit of the Prime Minister. But let's go across to Srinjoy Chaudhary. Srinjoy, let's get straight to the point. Give us 5 reasons why this visit of the Prime Minister is extremely significant.
Well, there are actually more than 5, but to begin with, of course, if you have to start with Ukraine and this Ukraine visit, the 5 reasons are peace, 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 and peace. Prime Minister, as you rightly said, has good relations with the Russians and good relations with the West. He has met Zelensky many times, and he has told the Russian President Vladimir Putin that the 21st century is not a time for war. Now, this is an opportunity for India, and India will be supported in this by many other countries, Brazil being one, which is a member of BRICS, telling India that, look, Brazil has said, you are good with the West, you are good with Russia.
Srinjoy,
go
do
ahead.
Stay with us. We'll talk more about that. But let me just take this across to Rishabh, who's on the ground, who's tracking the visit very closely. Rishabh, as Srinjoy gets us details of the significance of the visit, take us through the agenda of the Prime Minister. We've seen the latest pictures that are now here on our screens, but take us through, the minute-by-minute updates.
What we are learning now that Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be meeting President Zelensky shortly in Kyiv, and the agenda of the meeting would be very clear: to bring peace and prosperity to the region. Remember, India has time and again have shown its concern over the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The Prime Minister was also in Russia around 5 weeks ago, and there also Prime Minister was very clear that solutions cannot be found on battlefield. Dialogue and diplomacy are the 2 only options that can take the world forward in a peaceful manner. So that is something that will definitely be on agenda. There are a lot of talks that can India be a peacemaker or peace broker for that matter here. Rather, India would like to have both the parties on the table and then discuss for themselves that how the peace could be. India has been very clear since day 1 of this conflict and the war in February 2022 that India is a neutral observer. India is, and yesterday Prime Minister very categorically said at the Diaspora even day before yesterday for that matter that India stands with everyone, which means India would like to have a prosperous, peaceful world rather than conflict as of now happening in Europe between Russia and Ukraine, and also for that matter in West Asia. India is very clear that India cannot be the third party. India can only play a role of catalyst in the peace and can ensure that both the parties do come on the table and decide for themselves what is good for themselves.
So with peace being the #1 priority, this visit of the Prime Minister becomes extremely significant. And Rishabh is taking us through the latest updates that are coming in. On your screens are pictures of the Prime Minister, in fact, disembarking from the train. And now all eyes will be on the Prime Minister's visit with Zelensky. Let's go back to Srinjoy, who was telling us about, you mentioned it and you made it very clear, peace. And that's the topmost priority, Srinjoy. But when we talk about this very visit of the Prime Minister to Ukraine, it also gives India an opportunity to put behind a lot of, like many would say, the stickiness in a relationship or the sticky terms of a relationship of the past, and now move ahead. What are the other things on agenda, Srinjoy?
There are several other things that are going to be talked about. The war will one day end, and Ukraine will, during this visit, invite Indian firms, Indian companies to take part in the reconstruction process, especially in the eastern part of the Ukrainian area, which has been very badly damaged by war. This, of course, is $1 billion issue, and this will come up during the discussions. Among the other things, there is going to be talk about yoga centers in Ukraine and so on. Besides that, there will be a Ukrainian cultural center in India, in Delhi perhaps, and an Indian cultural center in Kyiv. These are things that will come under discussion. But apart from the war, the post-war efforts at reconstruction is going to be $1 billion effort. That is something that is on the agenda.
Right.
Besides that, defense. Once again, the Russians have talked defense with India.
Right.
Ukraine wants to talk defense with India, especially when it comes to spares.
Okay.
Because in the Soviet times, a lot of weaponry was made in Ukraine.
Interjecting once again, Srinjoy, because Rishabh is on the ground and he has some people along with him. What's the sentiment on the ground, Rishabh? Take us through the latest.
Well, let's talk to these ladies who are here at the place where Prime Minister would be meeting President Zelensky, and they are holding a very interesting banners with them. In Hindi, it says, "Prachin Buddhiman Bharat, Dunya ko burai se bachaye." Ancient India should save the world from bad amenities. Let's try and talk to them as well and speak to one of them. Ma'am, what is your agenda? Why are you here?
Thank you for this proposition, for your intention. I'm asking for not only Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, I'm asking for the whole India, whole peaceful India, whole strong India, whole economic strong India, and the biggest democracy in the world. Just now, India is the biggest country, we know it. We are asking you to stop this ideology of enforcing, ideology of murders, ideology of tortures that is provided by Russian President Vladimir Putin. I know that Mr. Modi had a talk with Mr. Putin, and the talk was about peace. I know that religions that are in India, they are the most peaceful religion. I know that Mr. Modi said that tanks would not solve any problem in the world. He said that to Mr. Putin, and that India, I think so, and my friend thinks so, and I think that all the Ukrainians that know about foreign policy of India, we know that India is the most peaceful country, but one of the most strong country. That's why we are asking you, save the world from this evil that is going from Russia. Save our children. Thank you, India.
So you heard it here. This is what the sentiment on ground is here in Kyiv, that India can play the role of, putting a halt to this whole war that has been in its 30th month now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit, though very symbolic, but is very, very significant here in Kyiv, and it's coming from none other than the Ukrainians themselves.
Rishabh is getting us the mood and sentiment on the ground, also telling us about what's on agenda. Srinjoy is decoding and explaining the significance of the visit. But viewers, do stay with us. Let's also get in voices of the Indian diaspora. If you've seen the pictures, there has been a rousing welcome for the Prime Minister. And what are the expectations of the Indian diaspora? How are they looking at this visit? Listen in.
मेरा नाम कासिम है, मैं मेडिकल का स्टूडेंट हूँ यहाँ पे 5th कोर्स में। ये सोचने वाली बात है। इंडिया से पहले दफ़े मेरे होश में आज तक कोई नहीं सुना, मैंने नहीं कभी सुना था, ना कभी मैंने जाना था। आने से पहले किसी को पता भी नहीं था यूक्रेन है, मगर हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी जी आज यहाँ पर आए हैं और ये स्टेप बहुत बड़ा रहा है। और पूरे वर्ल्ड में रिलेशन तो बहुत अच्छे ही हैं, अब यूक्रेन के साथ भी अच्छे हैं।
सर, मेरा नाम आशु है और मैं भी जयपुर से आया हुआ हूँ। काफ़ी दूर से हम लोग ट्रैवल करके आए हैं, स्पेशली हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर से मिलने के लिए। और काफ़ी एक्साइटेड है हम लोग इस चीज़ के लिए, क्योंकि अगर हम इंडिया में रहते तो शायद मुश्किल होता शायद मोदी से इतना नज़दीक से देखने का और मिलने का। बट यहाँ एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि हम उनको बहुत पास से देखेंगे और हो सकता है अगर बात करने का मौका मिला तो बात कर लें।